Welcome to my channel. My name is Latori and today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the Fenty fragrance. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and let's get right into the video. So this is the Fenty fragrance and that is just the name of the perfume, Fenty. And it comes in a really beautiful amber colored bottle with Fenty written across the top. I'll insert some pictures so that you can see it better. And I was really excited to receive this fragrance when it initially launched last year. I had no clue about the perfume, so I wasn't able to get it because it sold out in minutes. So when they did the restock at the end of last year, I was able to pick up a bottle. So this is a 2.5 fluid ounce or 75 ml bottle. This is the only size that the fragrance comes in and it retails for $130. So I wasn't quite sure what to expect when I smelled this. Like I said, when it initially launched, I wasn't able to get it, but I did watch a few reviews and I felt like everyone was saying something different about what it smelled like. And the overall theme that I picked up from all the different reviews that I watched was most people felt like it left a little something to be desired because it is a very unique scent. And I feel like I remember the intention was that it's made up of all middle notes. And so I was just really intrigued by that. So I definitely wanted to pick it up. And when I first sniffed it, I was very intrigued still because it was not at all what I was expecting, like most people said. I have one other perfume by Rihanna prior to the launch of the Fenty brand, and I really enjoy it. I can't remember the exact name of it, but I'll put a picture of it on the screen, and I think that's a really nice scent. I wear it a lot if I'm just gonna be like lounging at home or something like that. And I knew it was one review that I watched where someone mentioned that Fenty was not like the other Rihanna fragrances, and so that's why so many people were disappointed. And if you were expecting something more like the traditional Rihanna scents, I can understand why someone would be disappointed. But I think that with any perfume, you should kind of allow it to do what it's doing, and you can't really hold it to the standard of a different scent by the same brand, especially when the nose behind it is a different, perfumer. So with that in mind, when I first sprayed this, I initially got a lot of rose. I don't have a lot of rose fragrances in my collection, but it was what I picked up on right away. And that to me is really the star of the show. So this is, I would say, definitely a scent for a more mature person. It's definitely something that I feel like is not a crowd pleaser. I don't feel like it's a safe blind buy, and I think it's unfortunate that it was released in a full-size bottle, so people weren't really sure at all what they were buying. They were just trusting that it was from Rihanna, so they had to like it. And I don't think that was the case for most people that purchased it, which, it is what it is. But I feel like if you are someone that really enjoys rose-based scents, you would like it. Otherwise, it's probably not going to be something that you're excited about spraying every day, unless you're just like a Rihanna super fan. This is definitely something that I feel like is an acquired taste. I don't really have a specific purpose or place in mind when I spray this. Like usually when I buy something, I'll immediately think, oh, this is perfect for work, or this is perfect for going out, or I can think of an occasion where I would be excited to wear my fragrances. And with this, I didn't really have that, just because for me, it was nothing that stood out about it that made it, it didn't really feel like it was something necessary that I had to have in my collection. And that's not to say that I don't like it. It just didn't feel like a necessity for me. Like I said, rose is not one of those standout notes that I'm always looking for the next best rose scent. That's just not my thing. And because that's what my nose picks up a lot of on this, I feel like this is something that I am very interested in mixing and matching with my other fragrances so that I can get more use out of it since I do have it. With all of that being said, I don't think that it's a bad scent. It's just not for me something that I would have purchased if I had smelled it before I bought it. I think since the initial release and the second re-release, they do now offer samples that you can buy to smell it before committing to a full-size bottle. So I think that's great, and I would definitely recommend anyone trying to grab a sample before the full-size bottle if you are not someone that is into rose scents, or if you're like new to perfumes and you're not really sure what to expect. Based on reading notes, I would highly recommend trying to get the sample size before committing to a full-size bottle, just because one, $130 is a lot of money to spend on a perfume that you're not crazy about. And if you can try it for a fraction of that price, I just think that makes more sense. So according to the Fenty website, the notes that are listed are, let me see, the notes that are listed are magnolia, musk, tangerine, blueberry, and hints of rose absolute, geranium, and patchouli. Now, I find it funny that it says hints of rose absolute because that's really all I smell. I don't really smell anything remotely reminiscent of blueberry. I definitely smell the magnolia. You can smell like some white flowers in there. I don't get a lot of the tangerine. There's something like citrusy to it, almost like a tartness about it, but I wouldn't necessarily pinpoint tangerine. I mean, it smells a slightly bit citrusy. I don't really get anything outside of that rose. To me, that is really all I can smell. And the white flowers. It smells like rose and white flowers. I feel like if someone were to smell this, there would be a lot of like, what are they wearing? But not in a way like, oh my gosh, what are they wearing? I have to have that. More so like, what is that type of thing? It's just kind of not something that stands out, that I feel like, unless you are just like a collector or a Rihanna super fan, like I mentioned, it's not something that you really need in your collection, in my opinion. When I initially bought it, I was much more motivated to wear this. So I wore it for a few days in a row just to see how it would perform, how I would like it on my skin and that sort of thing. And I feel like the performance was decent. I definitely got hours of wear out of it. But with that, while I was wearing it, I sprayed fairly generously. I didn't really have anyone mentioning my fragrance. Usually if I spray something, especially something new, someone will say like, oh, what is that you're wearing? Or you smell good, what is that, something new, like that sort of thing. I didn't get that with this. I did let my mom smell it when I got it, and she said she thought it was nice and she liked it, but it wasn't one of those things where it's like, if I, with some of my other fragrances, when I first let her smell it, and she was like, oh wow, what is that? I want one. So I feel like the general consensus on this is it's not a must-have, it's not bad, but it's not like, oh my goodness, I really love this, I would not repurchase this. And I definitely don't feel like this is something that I needed a full-size bottle of. So yeah, I'm excited to see what other fragrances are released from the Fenty brand. I do like that this one was a bit different in that it was comprised of all middle notes. But just the note combination that was used, just not my thing. So those are my thoughts on the Fenty fragrance. If you've had this or if you've had a chance to smell it, please let me know what you think. I've spoken to some other people that are into fragrances and asked them like, hey, what do you think about the Fenty perfume? And I felt like the consensus was the same, that they thought it was nice, but it wasn't really like something that they were super excited about or felt like they needed to purchase. And I would agree with that. If you were able to get your hands on the Fenty perfume, because even with the 2 releases, it is something that's still very popular that a lot of people are trying to get their hands on, so it usually sells out fairly quickly. I was able to get mine because I signed up for the email notification list, so if you're interested, I would just suggest doing that because it is currently sold out at the moment. But if you were able to pick this up, let me know in the comments, what do you think? How do you feel about it? How does it compare to some of your others in your collection? All of your thoughts, leave them down in the comment section. I respond to all of my comments, so I'm excited to interact with you there, and I will see you next time. Thanks again for watching. Bye.